Let's not overcomplicate things. Also, you've changed so much over time, man. All right, so apparently we got instructions on how to read this, right? Italics is some narrator guy. Normal text is actual stuff happening. Dialogue is in bold, and suggestions are welcome. I don't know what that has to do with like reading instructions, but whatever, man. I guess it's important that we know. Maybe at some point it's gonna ask us to fill in a sheet or something. Yeah, oh wait, man, it's not like a 2 million years. It's like a reasonable year count. 1204 years after... Wait, 1204 years after the ascension of our Lord, rapt to Jesus to the heavens, we are in the season of harvest. So this implies that... So the narrator is a person. Is very strongly implied by this framing device. They are not like an ambivalent narrator. They are like a person who was there. Otherwise, you'd be like, it is the season of harvest. The heat is still high in the east of the continent, but little by little the cold will be replacing it in Caldera Cloughs County. Counties are fairly... I don't know about that in medieval times. I don't know the way Americans like to think it's used. The city-state prosperous by its commercial approach, since it was far from the border of conflict with the western towns. I like how we're on the east coast. East coast, east coast. I don't know who Ron Perlman is. I can't help you. Also, I like how we're doing fucking mercantilism in the middle of the Dark Ages. Yeah, sure, buddy. That period of feudal wars and theological crusades framework for the future generations, even though it finished 30 years ago. What you're trying to say is that a period of feudal wars and theological crusades is the framework, because it's still in effect. So basically, even though we live in a world where, like, 30 years is a hell of a long time for how long you are alive. Like, anyone who's been in that war is a fucking decrepit corpse by this point, considering healthcare and everything. Assuming they came out of that war clean. The consequences of wars are still palpable. 30 years is not... Like, considering the era, right? It takes, like, 18 years for you to get your generation back. And then those people gotta learn and build stuff. Like, ugh. Shit took time back then, man. There just wasn't the kind of mechanized labor to let you stomp a city out of the ground overnight. The consequence of was still palpable. The racial Sir, you're talking about racial segregation, not separation. The racial separation is still important even among members of similar species. I guess that... Why? Is it about birth rates? Are people less fertile when they go across species? The power vacuums that the conflicts caused helped the You should really put a comma there. That is literally when you should always use commas, is between two verbs that are part of different clauses. The power vacuum that the conflicts caused... Actually, is it, though? Or is it just me being like, this sentence needs a rewrite? Help the proliferation of banditry and monstrosities that stalk the small towns and travelers. Bandits generally don't hang out in towns, though. That's a different kind of crime. As for monstrosities, I don't know, man. That's like any modern D&D setting. Like, oh no, there's a tiefling. I guess he's here to solve our big rat problem. In one of these trips... Man, this translation is fucking garbage. Which admittedly is, like, not a bad thing. You could have worse problems, which I hope it doesn't have them. In one of these trips, a convoy of... Jesus Christ. In one of these trips, now a convoy of carts of a long chain that brings supplies... What trips? You didn't bring up any trips. Like, it talks about bandits and monstrosities, and then it goes, and then about trips, as if we've been talking about, like, the fucking economic networks between people. Among these carts is one that contains our hero, Anon Moose. Name? A young man, already in early adulthood, with 17 planting seasons behind him. Oh my god, you're gonna write like that, buddy? You might want to slow it down there, buddy. That's for people who've earned their fantasy degrees, not for like some dude writing on fanfic.net. Also, not for these kinds of translations. It looks so goofy. Maybe in Spanish it looks really sexy. I don't know. Also, early adulthood, 17 in the 1200s. The man is a fucking adult by this point. You do know that the concept of 18 is when you're adults is like doesn't work like that, buddy. Doesn't work like that. Like, there are different degrees of adulthood. Like, adult in the sense of, like, buddy, you go out there and you go plow that field. That happens way earlier. He's already done planting seasons. He's already been in the fields. He's already fixed his own shoes. Man's done shit. Do not call him an early adulthood young man. Odds are, he's gotten up to some crazy shit. Man, festivals back then were fucking nuts. Oh, these love classic styles are crazy. What are you talking about? God, I love how the translation is so bad. I'm like, I can't even know what the original sentence is really trying to say. Anon mutters, shaking his head. Shaking his head. Absorbed in the latest prints on classical imperial art. Only they would think of a revival of this classic and least little defined style. I thought, tilting my head. So, what? What? So we're doing bolds for speech, and we got dashes for like when things are being said, and we're just not doing that here? Motherfucker, you can't just say, oh, instead of quotes, we're gonna use M dashes. Okay, fine. And then just not use them. Also, bold is really hard to read in most textiles on this website unless you got one set up for it. Like, I've noticed that bold looks fine in certain fonts, but mostly it just looks like shit. It does not work as consistently as it should. Especially not in darker styles. Maybe in white because of how your eye perceives blacks compared to the smudgier whites here. I thought, tilting my head. So, let me get this fucking... Hold on, we're going to look at the original. I'm starting to lose my mind over the inconsistency of this fucking writing style. I know just enough Spanish that I can probably point at this and go, yeah. Okay, so I want you to look here, right? In the original Spanish, they fucked it up. Also, no period. Now, admittedly, okay. So this is first person style then, right? Because I know that verbs conjugated in like that, those are first person. Oh no. Apparently this can be third person. So that's just the translator shitting the bed, I guess. So let me put this down. Let me put my little beans down for a very odd reason. The translation is just the worst. We're not even several paragraphs in, and I'm already like, yeah, something went horribly wrong, and the original text is already kind of lacking. Great. Admittedly, we'll move on. I don't know if I can do narration if the text is making me go, what? Like, why do voices? I'm just gonna trip over my own feet. Especially on the consultants like this one, Stegostar. I've already debated with him arduously about this revival, at least we trust. I like how even in medieval times, Anon finds a way to be a fucking shit poster. Get raw cornstarch. No. I can't believe they haven't even invented beans on toast yet. City of Volcaldera Insight. Get ready to go down. Hold up, my motherfucker. Is the original just like, get out of the fucking car? No, the original, yeah, even... Oh, it can also mean to get off. To get off. I guess. Man, even Google Translate didn't figure this one out, but me being a little smarter figured it out. So let's just put it down. Translation, not going to be great. Gonna have to stomach this. Uncertain about the original Espanol version. The driver shot, taking Anon out of his thoughts, which is weird because he was first person here, but that's entirely in the English version, which is not in the original. Which is weird. I guess some verbs can't just end in O then. Even though they're third person, which is really weird. Can't believe Anon got isekai'd to the Skyrim intro. And he didn't even get arrested! Man didn't even have the courtesy to get arrested while he was here. At this, Anon saves the engravings and checks the straps of Zaba well fastened after jostling so much on the journey. That's actually perfectly reasonable to do. After all the little fucked up anachronisms, you actually get something right. Although, I don't know why this man is walking around in full plate. That shit boils you alive. Not good for long-term wear. Although, I guess it's Anon, and like his whole thing is you can't see his face, so... I guess that's the joke. Fair enough. I'll let it pass. I'll let it slide. His trusty armor. Plate armor with it. I like how Anon can afford a fucking full plate. Also, isn't the whole point of 18 as the age of adulthood is that that's when you can start wearing plate? The man is 17 and wearing plate. What the fuck? I'm sorry, man. We're going a little too far with this. Anon's too much of a nervous wreck to violate border sovereignty. He stands at the border like, hello? Is anyone manning this border station? With a green tablet inherited. Oh, he inherited it. You do know that, like, a lot of plate armor is quite bespokely made for its wearer, right? Like, this shit isn't, like, a general shape and size. that has saved him on more than one occasion. I like how you say that. Plate armor is fucking... I don't think people understand this, but back in medieval time, right, before people started getting, like, good armor-piercing technology or guns, or, you know, like, the thing that killed people in full plate is that they fell into the mud, couldn't get up, and drowned to death. That's what kills you. Plate armor is busted if we're in the 1200s. I hope we can get some magic. I want someone to cast a fire spell at his ass. And then he goes, ha 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 ha! Like he's fucking Italian. Since he left home 2 years ago, he has never been without full protection, especially without a helmet on. The man is embarrassed of the fact that his face looks like a baby. He's got a baby face, just big old cheeks. He turns to the coat of arms with the right shoulder pad with his fingers. The moose coat of arms, a mouse that defeated a lion with imperial motto that De parvis grandis servus irit. There will be big pile of little things? What? Snoot Perio ambush shame with all of us. I can't believe... I mean, admittedly, you could make it. Like, there's enough people on that card that you could make it Anon, Trish, Reed, and Fang, right? You could do that. Small things feed big things, huh? He thought wistfully. So, we established that we do this, and then we just do none of this. Hold on, we need to see if this is in the original Spanito version. The original Spanish version does at least have the closing one. So, again, this translation is fucking terrible. I'm sorry. I've done translation work, and I know that you have to make lots of decisions, and shit's a pain in the ass. But, man, this is the little stuff you really should be doing better. Also, you can't... If you're not including quotation marks, it looks weird when you have, like, the lowercase after the... I wish my efforts had led me to something more than this life of constant suffering and persecution. I think getting a trade license in Volcaldera will help me be something... Another mercenary. Face in the crowd all night long. So I'm going to die in combat. I believe the pay is with... I would live if you don't see me begging. So Anon, poor guy, is like, ugh, man, shit sucks, but, you know, if I could just get a job. Putting his thoughts aside, he puts his on his shoulder pad, and it. The rattling changes set of cobblestones. Like, I don't know, man, but, like, cobblestones, dirt road, it's hot as hell. It's only been an hour since prime time. Damn reptilians. Prime time? What the fuck is prime time? Are we dealing with television now? Ora prima. Is that like noon? It's probably just noon, right? No, it's prime hour. That is just prime time, I guess. What is this? Damn you skinhead cuts. If I wasn't caught in your trap, I'd be halfway to rock bottom full. Lowers his backpack at two-handed sword. So Anon is full plate two-handed sword. You might as well go for it, buddy. You might as well go for it. If you're gonna walk around in full plate, I mean, he actually got some decent shoes. Volcano Guild Academy. Okay, you can't have a guild academy. Like, it's either an academy or a guild. These are different buildings with different functions. Volcano, several legends within the kingdom had emerged, such as his parents, and the director of the center himself, as far as you know. Director of the center. Director of the center. Ay, ay, ay. What the fuck is director of the center? The center's director. Okay. Okay. Like, I have nothing against Anon going two-handed in full plate. If you're going full plate, like, you might as well get used to the fact that you have to put up 0 defense and go ham. Although, personally, I go for an axe. Get a bit more of that chopping power, man. Swords are cool for prestige, but axes just cut like crazy. Or get a spear. Be, like, double defensive. Be a little asshole. Trip people and stab them in the neck. And they didn't just train adventurers. I thought it was a mercenary. They're classes that also produce other illustrious members, such as chefs, engineers. What the fuck does this building do? Could I be for the letter of recommendation? What do they do? Do they just teach whatever? Is it just like, yeah, whatever teacher we got, that's what we're teaching, huh? So apparently Director of the Center, by the way, is not, like, far off the translation. I think the original Spanish version is just a little... I wonder if it's just, like, that's just how Spanish works. If you write Mexican, this is how it comes out. If you direct it, you know, if you don't know the stuff. Which is, you know, why direct translations and localizations are big business. Shaking his head at these thoughts, Anon knew. I always like it when the translation's better than the original because the people doing the translation are of a higher professional quality than the original. Like, the original guy is just a fucking idiot who's writing, like, some shitty-ass fic and doesn't give any flying fucks, and then the translation team is like, okay, how do we turn this into legible English? Because it's not even legible in Spanish. You know, that kind of stuff. I love it when that happens. It's the best shit ever. Guildmaster Spears. Fuck yeah! He better actually use a spear. It's funny. It's a good joke. I find it funny that they're called spear truckers, but there's also a guy called Spears. He's got a spear on his lapel, and in the thing he's from, he uses a spear. It's like the dumbest shit ever. I love it. Been a difficult journey, mostly because he refused to get out of his fucking armor. You have to make like, do you have any idea how long it takes to get into fold plate, man? Do you see all of this shit? Do you see that chainmail? Do you know that he's wearing a gamberson under there? Shit's a lot. This was his only chance. I like how this... So this man has a full plate before he even shows up to work. The man's not even properly educated. He's already, like, fully geared up. That's just weird, man. I'm not going to buy my kid full plate until I know he's actually going to use it. Jesus. What an investment. His only chance of avoiding up was Cataphobe's absurd conflicts over lenses and barony of an extraordinary levy. The main building lived up to its name. It was a post-imperial style. I like how we're at least building up that there's, like, some sort of imperial art movement. I don't know why we're discussing this at all, considering what these things tend to be about, but I like it. Thumbs up. We're actually discussing culture. Made entirely of wood and stone. Wow, that is so descriptive. I love the fact that we're describing this building as wood and stone. Thanks. Resembling a castle fit for a bear, more open with square with multiple windows and entrances is glass. There we go. So it's very spacious and open. You could just say that it's very spacious and open for a castle-like structure. He cannot get out of his place. His squire died of typhus. Well, you know what? And Mr. Bennett, you got it down. Down pat. The entrance still looked quite empty. Why still? There are a few colorful reptiles. I like how we're just doing the fucking video game, the opening, but but he seemed the class at the start yet. Or so, at least I hope so. In order to contact them as little as possible. When he reached the front door, he was glad to see that it was open. Even though it was so early. It would have looked like an idiot if he had to wait there, loaded with everything. Man, I can't believe I'm waiting in front of the front door at full plate like a loser! Upon entering, I like how upon entering, he found himself in a huge major corridors and staircases. He thought himself how lucky he was to have learned to read interpret maps when he was young. I feel like map reading is not like a sophisticated skill. Like, reading and interpreting maps is sophisticated when you're dealing with nature because you have to interpret, you know, like, what's it called again? Landmarks? But a building map is never really that abstract because you can just count. At least put him right next to the Guildmaster's office. It looks like the big boss's office, I muttered to myself. I love how we're just switching POV all the fucking time. I'll admit, I have issues with some of the fics that are like POV swatching all over the place. I like this because it's so bold and in my face. I feel my cheeks hurting. Ow! Imagine, then take off the earphones and sees all the Argonians. And he looks at Anon and goes, how dare you, Nerevar, hang out with all these fuckers. Jesus Christ, Nerevar, you've let slip. You are not cooking. We need to do you a little glow up, buddy. Get you some of that Dunmer pride back. It was no, oh, it would have been Chimer, right? Whatever. I don't care about elves. Come in, said a deep voice, the gutter voice. Ugh, I like how he's called the Barbarian King. Motherfucker runs an academy guild and is a barbarian. So, did that come with his house? Like, he bought himself an office and he got the chair with it, or what? Human, or perhaps Neanderthal, was quite massive. If he stood up from his seat, he would tower over several heads. Jesus Christ, he was twice as wide. Goddamn. He would probably take Anon's two-handed sword and go, what's this butter knife? And I was sure it's too mad with any experience in his short life. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's how he became the big man. Jesus Christ, Anon, what a fucking obvious statement you're making. Who are you? asked the giant, seated in his carved chair as ever as impressive as the throne in some courts. I feel like you could have done with this just as a throne. It's as impressive as a throne, or as the imperial throne. Just call it as impressive as the imperial throne. Makes him sound nice and big. You should have received a letter from some time ago about my arrival, Mr. Spears. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be there's fancy terms. He probably want to be called King Spears, His Royal Majesty. I am Anon I Moose. Oh God, I love how terrible this looks in English because it's like Anon, and then he just says I. And then he says moose in 3 separate sentences. Like in Spanish, it's probably fine because it's yo, but my father sent me here, but it's a long journey. It took me 2 years to cross this fucking continent. Why don't you guys build a train? What is a train? God damn it, do you have any cars? Oh man, this isekai sucks. I got my driver's license for this. Spears brought his hand to his face thoughtfully. Alright, I thought you wouldn't be able to cross your continent on your own. My apologies for doubting the abilities of your master. Sir Daniel Fortescue? Fucking Daniel Fortescue? Get the shit out of here. Isn't that the guy from Medieval? God damn it, it is! And I will say, your dad's way better in death than he was in life. Or maybe both. He laughed gutturally. Hold up. Hold up. I need to look something up. Oh. Okay. Alright. He always had a gift for teaching. I was hoping yet I've been hearing his two-handed sword style. Mr. Fortescue just swings that shit like a madman. Hope I can live up to his legacy. I mean, his legacy, he might be dead, but his legacy's still getting built. It's kind of weird. With the hint of sadness, so his letter explained the whole situation. Yeah, but it arrived like 2 minutes before you showed up, Anna. You have any idea how fucking slow mail is in this time? It's not any faster than you are. We don't even have, like, the goddamn Roman Pony Express shit. Yeah, right, I see you've already covered everything you need. Can you look into his backpack? He just shows up in weapons and armor. Come on. I'll give you a sheet with your classes for this upcoming semester. You're in luck. The new school year begins in a few hours. Walking through the still empty halls, Spears tells him about the classes that he will be taking this year. Music, math, potions, languages. I can only pronounce it, of course. Fencing, tracking, bestiology, and magical aptitude. So we got monsters and magic. Cool. I like how this is all in like uppercase, but this is all in like lowercase, even though those are also subjects, so they should be of the same. No. Also, it's math. Why are you signing such civilian classes? You know, I could never be a musician. And he strings the guitar and goes la 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 or something like that. Alright. My Dagoth, the farm equipment escaped. Nervar, get in the net. What? Just call me Spears, son. I'm a barbarian. I have no sense of taste. I have no style. I have no style. Has no style. He stands up and takes him by the shoulder. So I like how we're just fucking... Like, what POV? I don't know, man. Sometimes Anon gets first person for like a split second. Just for entertainment. And let me tell you, if you keep with that defeatist as killer, you have no other choice. Anna, you're gonna be cooking if you don't fucking man up a little bit. Goddamn. Uncomfortable with the context, Pierce pulls his hands away. I don't know, Spears, but the battles. I like how Anon's already gotten into a fight. It's implied that Anon has blood on his hands at this point. I've already had my hand full with them. I'm going to fight them alone. I'm going to fight other people's battles when I'm trying to stay afloat. Mr. Spears, I'm wearing full plate. You have any idea how much a single attack of Shocking Hands is going to do? I'm going to be dead. That spell does 1d6 damage, sir. I have 1d6 hit points. Anon, you're a fighter. Shouldn't you have 1d10 and a decent con score? Do you think my parents thought about that when they pulled me through Cargen? And Mrs. Spears like, hey, is it too late for you to become a wizard or something? Have you considered swapping classes this late in your... Okay, I just have to verify. I'm thinking of, yeah, 3.5. It does, in fact, do 5 points of electrical damage. And you get a plus 3 bonus if they're wearing plate mail. Or any armor made of metal. Or they're made of metal. I like how it's also like, or made out of metal, or carrying a lot of metal. Like, you know, if someone's just walking around with a hand, with his arms full of ingots, you get a bonus to smack them. Also, fun fact about 3E spells that practically no one in the fucking world knows about. Let me look it up. I want to look this up. Hold up. We gotta look up how spells work. Please, one moment. Touch spells and holding a charge. Nobody knows this, because nobody in the goddamn world ever reads this section. And I found out about it. It's like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. That kind of makes touch spells a little sexier, actually. Where is it? In most cases, you don't discharge a touch spell on the round you cast it. You can hold the charge indefinitely. You can make touch attacks round after round. If you cast another spell, the touch spell dissipates. Some allow you to touch multiple parts of the spell. You can't hold the charge to such a spell. You must touch all of them in the same round you finish casting it. So if you miss with Shocking Grasp, that shit's still stuck on your hand. You still got a shocky little buzzer hand. You can just smack someone else later down the line. Wait a minute, the 5e version is like 1d8 lightning damage. You can't make opportunity. Doesn't it have like advantage that they were wearing armor? Did they change that? Hold up. I gotta find a way to let's get rid of this. Let's just get rid of this. How about you? How about we get rid of this? Shocking grasp. Oh. Okay. Is there a way to like? Oh, but actually, there is a way for me to do this. Hold up. My dad said it's calm as a dumpster. Yes, for spell. He's like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to get this kid the fucking respec. Can you imagine? Kid shows up to your room, he got a letter of recommendation, and like the first thing you have to do is give him a respec. Oh, I'd be so mad. I just sit down where I stood and go like, oh my god. Here we go, player's handbook. Uno momento. Por favor! Man, I love that stupid ass, what's it called again? Drake and Josh joke with the little robot that goes, por favor! Like, what else could a man want out of life but a little robot that says, por favor! God damn it. Don't really care. Yeah! In the original version, you have advanced attack if it's wearing armor made of metal. I guess 5th edition got hit with the bouncing stick, and they're a bunch of lamos. Did you hear the rumors? Famous Mr. Logan Paul used shock touch on a Skaven. You can't just shock a rat. They're just little guys. Where was I? Oh yeah, so Spears. We all deserve a second chance, Anon. Even if you think the world's good. What do you mean a second chance? Other than being a little bitch, Anon hasn't really done anything that requires you to go, Anon, you will deserve a second chance. For what? Anon could only clench his fist involuntarily. Yes, that could only. It's kind of implicitly involuntarily. A second chance, he thought. Man, I love how inconsistent we are with everything in this. It's like this translation with was chat fucking GPT. I never had one. Just an opportunity for them to step on my neck. If they were wrapped up. What am I reading here, okay? I'm very confused. They resumed their journey and greeted with some teachers of the guild spheres. We're having to the dorms. I figured your condition probably first were private. It's not much. But the old So instead of living in Skin Row, Anon lives in an old ranger's cabin. Anon isn't a fucking ranger. He's not gonna use a bow. He's gonna be like, oh man, I'm gonna pull back the string. It's so hard. I thought strength was a dump stat. Yes, in the books. But Anon, do you have any idea how fucking beefed up most rangers are? You have any idea how hard it is to draw a bow? That shit's hundreds of pounds, baby. Why do you think I use a bow? Leverage. Leverage. Although, admittedly, I feel like Spears would use a sling, and he'd hit you in the face with a big boulder, and it'd be like thrown with such force, you're like, oh god, who needs a helmet? You need to be in the other country for him not to hit you. I love how he gets a fucking rage. The Ranger's Cabin's Cry Mouse is 2 stories. So, he gets 2 stories? Why does this Anon get 2 floors? With a living room, bathroom, a kitchen on the lower floor, and some basic furniture, a couple of bedrooms upstairs. He's multiple of them. Only one of which has a bed, the other was empty. Then how do you know it's a bedroom? Outside, there was a small bush for storing firewood and a garden growing some fruit and vegetable for personal consumption. Jesus. I love how Anon gets like a luxurious apartment. At least in his right arm. You only need the one. Especially if he plans to use a crossbow and a winch. You can just wind it with one arm. Thank you very much. It's more credit than we expected. You think so? This institution's most prestigious. Children from important families, blah, blah. Kind of interesting that we're starting this off with Spears. Like, we haven't seen Naomi or anyone else. Make it sound as if it was a pig's tail. Wow, Anon, you're just gonna call the fucking barbarian king? Hey, buddy, do you know what normal people live like? That may be true, Anon, and this isn't in bold. Oh, God, I love how inconsistent everything is. It's just incredible. What a mess. What a match. How does the translation take this long if it's this absolutely messy about it? Like, this kind of sloppy stuff feels like you cranked it out in a week. My days in this adventure are over. I took an arrow to the knee, if you believe it. I can live comfortably teaching the young generation. I'd be settling. Later, the welcoming committee will come for you. Why are you making it sound so threatening? I'll accompany you to your first class after showing you the rest of the place. Have a good day. Gotta get through the classes. Have you already taken an oath? Yes, sir. I did. Before I coming as a teacher. Oh, he took a fucking oath? Man's a paladin? We got a knight here. Me rattling my spoon against my... Look, I got a knight over here. We got a real oath and toaf over here. I mentioned it to the teacher. Something you want to take off your armor, show yourself to others, retire your decision. Out of curiosity, what kind of vows? Vows against savagery and corruption. Welcoming party is doing what? Shouldn't Spears be like, ha ha ha, yeah. Savagery, corruption. Proud, he shook his head. It's all in the past now. Stop mattering a long time ago. He thought as he closed his eyes and his composure. Why isn't this narrator text? After spending some time, I handle to know with his meager belongings. Damn! I muttered. Like how we're going. Love that fucking rubber band POV. Alright, where are we? Someone knocking on his door before getting out. He deposited was prized possession appended with a photo. A photo? Listen, my man, I know that cameos are not, like, uncommon concepts in this day and age, but you do know that those were, like, little drawn sketches? Like, what camera? Magic camera? I guess magic camera. Let's just assume that any technological anachronisms are fucking magic, okay? We got magic. It's just fucking magic. Don't worry about it. At the back of his closet... Hold on. I kind of want to know. Actually, it's possible that in Spanish it also uses the term photo, but the term photo just means a generic depiction. Henry the Atheist. Yeah, no one likes to talk about the dick armor. No one ever talks about that part. Everyone's like, oh, boob armor's weird. I'm like, man, people have dick armor. Can you imagine? It's not even a chastity cage. It's just there for, like, clink, clink, clink. Open the door. The first ability, perhaps. Is this Imperial equipment? Because if this is Imperial, I will say it screams this man's Imperial. I feel like you could have done away with the Kanye, though. For one, weird thing to include, and two, kind of breaks up the outfit, which otherwise is kind of swag. And I like how she's just, like, perfectly modest. I mean, the man looks like Link with a fancy cloak, although the boots are a bit much. I feel like everything else is fine, like in terms of filigree and everything, but then the fucking shoes are like this. It's like, man, how long did they take on those shoes? By the way, I love light blue and yellow. Perfect combination. Extraordinary. Now, there's very modest shit going on here. I'm Naomi, and this is Nasser. We're your welcoming committee. Hell yeah, my brother.